Perfect. All right, we are ready to go. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be covering a multi-part series. I'm going to be breaking down open houses. This first one, part one, is going to be all about the different ways that you can generate business, whether you're doing the open house or not. I'm going to show you some online marketing for open houses. If you're actually doing the open houses, how to get more out of it as well. Parts 2 and maybe part 3, depending how many parts I need, I'm going to be showing more specific step-by-step how to set things up. So like how to do the Google pay-per-click step-by-step. But on this first part, we're just going to be sharing all the ideas and we're going to be uncovering some stones that you may not have turned over. So I'm going to give you the open house marketing ideas, kind of like a spray and pray, and hope that some of them fit your needs. You're going to see real estate specific examples, and I'm going to show you how to generate more leads as well. So everything you do in this business is a marketing event. That's how I looked at it. When I got into the business, I mean, literally everything I did was a marketing event. And what's that mean? It means I didn't just show up on the Saturday and put out 4 open house signs and hope that people were going to come in to my open house. It means I was door knocking. It means I was doing Facebook ads. It means I was doing all these different things. So yeah, everything is a marketing event to me, where I literally just didn't put out open house signs. I was doing everything that I could to leverage the opportunity. And why I liked open houses is because it always gave me a future opportunity to market towards. So that was the name of the game for me as to why I was doing open houses. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to share with you just a ton of different ideas. The first one is leveraging vacant listings. So I would keep an eye out on all of the listings at our brokerage, and then I would call the agent up and say, hey, I noticed you got a brand new listing and it happens to be vacant. Would it be okay if I did an open house? And they always said yeah. The reason why I did this is because I turned it into my mobile office. Every week I had a new office to work from because nobody was walking into my home and nobody was walking into my actual office off the street. I mean, we did have the agent on duty rotation, but very rarely was a person actually coming in. So I used other people's listings as my mobile office. It claimed my weekends back because it was vacant. I didn't have to do the open house on the weekend. I did it on a Thursday night or a Friday night. And so I usually did it from, say, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on a Thursday or Friday. And the reason why I did that is because I used it as time blocking for doing my follow-up and prospecting calls because I had a really good success rate when I was calling people in the evening. So why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? So I just every week had a different vacant listing that I was working out of. And if nobody came into the open house, I was just on the phone dialing for dollars. So it was a very ultra productive use of my time. Now, typically, if you were to do an open house, you would go show up and put the open house sign rider on the top because you got to let the whole neighborhood know and people know that you're doing an open house. That's very standard. What you should consider is enhancing your open house signs so that there's a little bit of a call to action. There's not a lot of room on the sign rider at the top, but we would definitely put our website /open house, and therefore we could at least try and drive traffic to our website. The one that actually worked and got the phone ringing was this call to action. Don't get too hung up on the design. I'm just trying to give you the idea. So the idea is that I would attach another sign. I call it a sign dangler. I don't know what you would call it. But anyways, that's another sign that attaches on the bottom of your for sale sign and kind of dangles off it. And the call to action says, let me zoom in. The call to action says, get a list of open houses, text open to 905-903-5442. And then at the top, it would have the open house Sunday 2 to 4. So I would have multiple versions of this sign made up. One would be Saturday 2 to 4. One would be Sunday 2 to 4. Another one would be Thursday 6 to 8. So I had different versions of these signs, but I would actually get people randomly texting me. I'd be like, wherever I am, I'm at home, I'm at a coffee shop or something, and I would get a random text directly on my cell phone, and it would just be a person saying, open. I'm like, oh, this person's obviously in front of one of our listings and text me the word open. So I would reply back through my own phone. I'm not paying another third-party product or service or subscription. People were literally just texting my cell phone the word open. So I would reply back to these people and say, what's the best email to send the listings to? You text me about open houses, ? And obviously they know what I'm talking about, so they'll reply. So then I would say, okay, great. Thanks for the email. Now, if you were to move, what areas were you thinking? And then they'll tell me like they want to move downtown or east, west, wherever they're thinking. And then I'll respond to that by saying, just to be sure, can I give you a quick call just to confirm a few things? I'll be quick and easy. I can't actually qualify and script a person through texting. If you go back and forth through text, like say more than 5 times, the conversation is now annoying for the person on the other end. And so I use this as a way to get the people on the phone. I already know it's their cell phone because they're texting me from it. And I just want to make sure if I can give them a quick call. And I let them know, I'll be quick and easy because that's what they want to hear. They don't want it to be a long time and they don't want it to be not easy, basically. And so after I have the conversation with the person on the phone, I'll text them that I made them VIP access to our website. So on most real estate agent websites, you have to create an account or you have to log in either in order to view all the photos or to view all of the listings. So if I get a person on the phone and I'm emailing them a list of all the open houses, what I do is I go to my own website, create an account for them. The username is their email. The password is their phone number. And then I just copy and paste and send this to the people because I don't want them going to other agents' websites and creating an account. If I can do it for them, I will. So I'll send them a text message saying I made you VIP access to my website and then their username and password. Now, when you are ordering these open house signs, 100% you should get reflective lettering. So whoever your sign maker is, make sure that it's reflective lettering because when people are driving down the street, they see their for sale sign, that's something new, right? Well, as the week goes on, maybe a couple of weeks go on, they kind of get used to that for sale sign. But if you have an open house rider on the top or dangling off the bottom and it uses reflective lettering, it's kind of like a pattern interrupt. When they're driving down the street in the evening, the letters will light up and it'll just show that there's an open house. So it doesn't take any power. It doesn't cost that much more money. It's called reflective lettering, and this is what you should use for your open house signs. Now, say a person doesn't text me. Instead of texting me, they use the website that I had on the sign writer at the top. Now, where would I take a person to? I would build a landing page on your website that has these 4 basic elements: a video of you explaining to them the benefit and what they're going to get out of registering, a call to action, and a map. Now, I had a really simple system for this. When people registered on this link, I had an automatic email that would send them to a map search on our website showing all of the active open houses. So it was just automatically done. Some of you may not have that capability. And so what I would do if I were you is set yourself up on a daily alert of all of the open houses. And then you forward that to them until you can set them up properly. Little roundabout way of doing it. And I don't know what website you're using, whether it's an agent-based templated website or a WordPress website. You can make landing pages on something like Weebly or Weebly. And then even like some of the other products and services you probably already have, such as BombBomb, you can build forms as well. So you can use any of those as landing pages for your website. There's a little trick we use. It's called a URL redirect. If you go to GoDaddy, this is where you register domain names, so www.whatever.com. So take a look at this. Which one is easier to read and write? Number 1 or number 2? Obviously number 1. It's shorter, it's cleaner, it's simpler. Now say number 2 is our website and landing page that we made. It's a long ass URL. There's no way a person is going to type all that out. So what we would do is we would take the long URL, go to GoDaddy, find something shorter. In this example, I searched openhouselist.com. Say it was available, I would buy it, and then I would do a URL redirect. It costs $10 a year. So this is the type of thing we do for our print marketing or definitely print marketing. So anytime we need a shorter URL, which is like 99% of the time, you do not need these long, ugly URLs. So we'll do a URL redirect, and we do that through GoDaddy. So the scenarios we use that would be our sign writers, any of our direct mail. If you do newspaper and magazine ads, the text is very limited with how much space you have. So you got to get it as short as possible. Even classified ads. And then when we text a person, if we text a person the URL, if it's shorter, it looks cleaner. If it's like really long and complicated, it just looks like almost like a virus. Like they don't want to even click on it. And then your email signature and follow-up as well. So you can use shorter URLs basically everywhere. Before I talk about Sumo, it looks like there's a question. So somebody says some of the franchises have their own free URL shortener. Yep, there's a couple versions out there. Yeah, but when you do a URL shortener, usually like say it's bit.ly.com or bit.ly, you're using that bit.ly and then some weird /. Whereas with the GoDaddy, it's just like a clean name. It's like your own branding. One of the tools I want to share with you is this one called Sumo. Sumo allows us to convert 8% of our traffic on top of all the other leads that we're generating. So say you get 100 people to your website. With Sumo, you will get 8 leads, basically. So there we go. This is what it looks like. Here I went to my website and see the top up there. It's shaking around. It says weekend open house alerts, enter your email, updated daily. With the Sumo tool, this is called the Smart Bar, and it puts a Smart Bar on the top of every page on your website. I just took a screenshot of my coaching website, but obviously your website would be all about buying and selling. And the challenge with you guys and most real estate agent websites is the top part of the website is usually like 5 inches, or maybe not that big, say 2 inches of the screen space is taken up with a picture of the home and the agent's face is photoshopped in the kitchen, and then there's all these buttons underneath. Then people have to scroll down just to read any of your content. Well, with the Smart Bar, it puts the main call to action on the very top of your website on every page. So when you get brand new listings and they're automatically added to your website, when people are doing the search through the map search, it will include this call to action on all your listings going forward. It also has a drag and drop editor, so it allows you to easily change this message on the fly. So at the press of a button, I can change the message. Maybe next week we have a buyer seminar, or maybe the week after that, we're hiring real estate agents, or maybe the week after that, you got like some sort of house value campaign. So at the press of a button, you can update this, and it's almost like using a megaphone and doing a mass broadcast. And it allows you to super easily have a call to action on the top of every page on your website. So the Sumo Smart Bar is amazing. The other tool that they have is this thing where it pops up. So on your website, they can be looking at all of the listings, they can be watching all of the videos, they can be reading all of the content, and it will never pop up. However, when a person goes to hit the back arrow, change the URL, or close the browser, then it will pop up. So we'll have ours pop up and say, weekend open houses, get updates on local open houses and listings in Durham region, enter your email. And so this is called, which one is this called? There's Smart Bar. Oh, I forget what they have 5 different tools that they use. Oh, I guess this is just the pop-up. And anyways, so this one will literally just pop up. So it's not as annoying as other pop-ups because it only triggers when they're already leaving anyways. So it's not like as soon as they go to your website, it pops up and covers your whole thing. That could work, and it probably would get you more leads, maybe. But I don't know. I kind of like not annoying people. So the Sumo tool is amazing. On part 2 of our webinar, we're actually going to go through it and build these together so that you can see how to add it. Now, talking about building, a lot of the marketing that we do today is very visual. In fact, marketing is always visual. And a lot of real estate agents have a hard time with designing things. So we'll use Canva. It's a free tool that allows us to do drag and drop editing for our marketing. So here's an example of a photo. Instead of having one photo of the property, we'll make a photo that has 3 or 4 pictures of the property with the call to action. Let me zoom in. This is kind of like our universal image size. So if you were to post something on Facebook or you were to post something on Instagram or any of the other platforms, you need all of these different sizes, right? Well, my rule of thumb is I will always make one image that is 1280 by 720. And the reason for that is because it fits on all devices, because when you watch a video, that's what the size is. 1280 by 720 is like the standard video size. So you should make one image universally fit. It's just like so much easier, because when I have this one image, I can then take it and then I can repurpose that image when I do a Facebook post, if I do a Craigslist or Kijiji ad, or if I'm running an Eventbrite for the open house, or I want to create a blog on my website and I have to have a photo. Like, this one photo is so much easier for me to make and reuse over and over and over again, as opposed to making different sizes for everything. So I always do that, where I make one image that will work across the board for all my marketing. It just makes my job so much simpler. Here I am, I go over to Craigslist, and Craigslist is a very ugly website. It's classified advertising, and instead of one photo, now look, it has the 4 photos with the call to action. It just stands out way more. So it's like a very subtle branding. Let me zoom into the text to show you something. So when you're doing a Craigslist ad, you'll obviously have like the address and the price and all the information about the property. But look at what I have highlighted and in bold. It says, can't make it. Call or text me at 905-903-5442, and I'll send you more photos, the full MLS details, and a video tour. This home and others are featured at openhouselist.com. So some people, they can't make your open house because they're going away this weekend or whatever. So I'll always include a call to action for them to get more simply by contacting me. And at the end here, I leave off by saying this home and others are featured at openhouselist.com. And this is me using the GoDaddy URL shortener. So if a person actually clicks or types in openhouselist.com, I would have it redirect to my website, to whatever page, landing page, or blog I have that would help me convert leads. So I mentioned it earlier because somebody else mentioned what their franchise does, and that would be URL shorteners. So sometimes you don't need a full custom paid domain. You can just shorten the URL. And Bitly is an awesome free service that allows you to do that. It basically takes longer URLs and makes it shorter. The only problem that I have with it is that it would be bit.ly. So it's like the .com. So some people are confused with that. They don't even know what I just said. And if that's the case, then your clients are probably the same as you. So URL shorteners are great, but they don't look normal to people, and so they don't realize how to type it. And anyways, time and place for everything. This is a cheap way for us to shorten URLs. I do it a lot in my webinars when I say I want to share a link with you guys, and it's an affiliate link where you'll get something just by registering. I'll use a Bitly link. This is an example of the newspaper ad or a magazine ad that we would do. And so instead of me just advertising that one open house with the date and time and the address, I'll still do that. I have the picture of the home and I have the open house date, time, and address. But above that, at the very top, it says 22 open houses this weekend. And then in yellow, I have a call to action that says, for a list of all open houses, text open to 905-903-5442. And then I have the shorter URL down below that. I'm telling you, if you just did a test where you do a newspaper or magazine ad and you advertised an open house, just the standard typical way you normally do, or the week after that you run it this way, this is going to get you more business. I use the yellow and the gray because it kind of makes the ad pop in the print, especially newspaper ads. It's kind of like a dull, muted substrate. And so I'll, instead of having a white background, I'll make it gray to make it even duller, but then I'll add the yellow to make it really pop. So anyways, take a look at this. If you're going to do newspaper ads or magazine ads, this is definitely a consideration for you to do. I'll zoom in if you want to take a screenshot of what the text says. Down at the bottom, in some areas, some boards, some states, some provinces, you have to have certain disclaimers or communication. Like in my area, I would have to have that I'm a sales representative with the brokerage I work at. You might even need the message that says not intended to solicit buyers or sellers currently under contract. Whatever your fine print is, you can put it down at the very bottom. But when I do that, I'll always start it off with a call to action. So mine says 22 open houses are posted this weekend at the time of print. For a full list of Oshawa Whitby open houses, please text or call, and then I put all my information that I need to have. So whatever information you need, just make sure that you have it in your advertising. Now that we have that magazine ad designed, we can repurpose that magazine ad. So we could do other print ads. We could do take that ad and do a direct mail postal walk. That's when instead of doing, say I wanted to do 100 postcards to an area, instead of paying for 100 stamps, we would do what's called a postal walk. And then we drop off these at the post office and we just do a bulk run. It's a lot cheaper. So if you've never done it, it's called a postal walk, and you just call up your local post office and ask them how it works, and they'll tell you the pricing and everything. I would definitely be doing door knocking as well. Remember, I said everything I do is a marketing event, and I'm fully intentional because I do not want to just show up on a Saturday, put 4 open house signs, and not have a single person show up. Like, I literally would hate myself for wasting that time. And so what I'll do is the week leading up to it, I'll do door knocking. Even if nobody shows up, at least I put the effort in and I generated leads somehow. And then also that newspaper ad that you took, maybe you see it, it's in your hands, take a photo of it, and then you can do a social media post from it too. So you can repurpose the marketing to do more marketing, kind of like a behind the scenes type of marketing. Ultimately, I want to be this guy in life. When I was a kid, this was a piece of art that my grandmother had, and I don't know why I was so attracted to it, but I love the idea of this guy just sleeping, and he had so many fishing poles, he just had to wait for the fish to come to him. And that's how I look at marketing. Not one thing is going to be the fix. However, if I have enough marketing out there, some of it will trigger at different seasons. So this is what I want to position you guys to do to be more like him. This is an open house sign that I have made up. What I would do is actually I bought 20 of these signs. And so if I do an open house, I don't put out 4. I'll put out as many as possible that makes sense. So I definitely use way more open house signs than I need. And then I also had a sign in, sign out service at the office for any new agent. I would call them up and say, hey, welcome to the team. My name's Danny. I'd love to meet up with you over lunch or coffee. And I'm assuming you're probably going to be doing open houses. And I'm assuming you don't want to pay for the cost of all these open house signs. So if you want, you can use mine. And I have like a sign in, sign out service. It's kind of first come, first serve basis. But if you want free signs, I got them for you. And then every weekend, I had other agents taking my signs and littering them all over the streets and gathering them up and setting them up and bringing them back to me. It was awesome. So I totally looked at it as a branding play. I didn't really, I never tracked if I actually got anything from the sign itself. But the idea behind just ordering a bunch of signs and then letting other agents use them is, to me, a no-brainer. Like, all your friends and family live in your community, right? They're constantly going to be seeing your open house signs. They're like, man, that Danny guy, he's always working. Another idea is Google. So if a person goes to Google and types in, like, for example, my city, Oshawa, so Oshawa open house, my goal, let me flip over. My goal was to dominate all of those keywords. Of all of the internet leads that I could be targeting, which ones are hopping in a car this weekend? The people going to open houses. So I wanted to dominate all of the open house terms in my city. And so like Oshawa open house, weekend open house, real estate open house. I listed off all of the other franchises. So ABC Realty open house, for example, realtor open house, MLS open houses. There's probably about 20 keywords that I would really laser focus on, and it had to have the word open house. This idea, if they were to search that on Google and click, obviously I would take them to my landing page. So I'm repurposing all my old marketing, right? Once you have it created, it makes it a lot easier. That campaign alone probably be like $100 a month on Google. Two reasons. One, it's not very competitive because all the other real estate agents are targeting the common words like real estate for sale, homes for sale, that sort of thing. They're not really targeting the open house one. And two, it's not that heavy of a search volume, so you don't have that high of a cost. So this is just another fishing pole. Set it and forget it. Put that in the water, $100 a month. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe this week I don't get any leads, but maybe next week I do. So we can do that for you. I'm going to be showing you step by step in part 2 of this series how to actually do the Google pay-per-click yourself. Another source of leads would be Facebook. It's called the lead generation. There's different ways. Most agents, they boost the post, which can work for some of you. However, I'm going to suggest you don't do that. I'm going to suggest you do what's called lead generation, Facebook lead generation. This is what the ad typically would look like. And here again, I'm repurposing that one photo. So that one photo that I had made up, I used it on my landing page, I used it on my blog, I used it on my classified ads, and now I can use it in my Facebook ad as well. So I post the ad on Facebook and I'm targeting everybody in the city. If a person clicks on that, I don't even have to take them to a landing page because I'm doing a Facebook lead ad. It builds the landing page right into Facebook and I can capture their information this way. So again, this is just another fishing pole in the water. When you do Facebook ads, you can carbon copy that to target people on Instagram as well. And speaking of Instagram, I want to share with you the free versions. Think of this. Everything you do is a marketing event. So I could say I'm doing an open house this weekend. Obviously, I could make an announcement and post about it. So I could do an Instagram post and a Facebook post. I could even do a live video. So maybe I'm going to the home to install the sign writer on the top of the sign. Maybe I could do a live video showing the property and the curb appeal or something like that, or do a little walkthrough of the property. And stories as well. So I could do a quick little story of just like my hand putting the open house rider on the top of it. A quick little 5-second clip, like a boomerang going back and forth, right? So there's different ways you can leverage the open house just by doing a post, a live video, and a story. People love behind the scenes type of stuff. So that newspaper ad, for example, when I get it in print and I take a picture of it, like instead of just showing the ad itself, show the ad in action. People love that sort of thing. You see it a lot when an agent's getting a listing and they're doing a video of the property and all the cameras and lights are set up and they take a picture of the cameras. People just love that. And then previews as well. So it's not even yet on the market and you're doing an open house and you're doing a little preview. Now, say you're doing the open house and not a single person comes through, which it happens. If that's the case, then why not do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live where you're walking through the property? You're like, hey, I'm at my open house. If anybody wants to come and bring me a coffee, I'm at 123 Fake Street. I'm here from 2 to 4. And I just want to show you a couple of the cool little features of this home. And you're like showing them the awesome backyard or showing them the amazing whatever. The kid's bedroom is really cool or something. So do a Facebook Live. There's another marketing opportunity that we can leverage, and that would be the Google Display Network. So the Google Display Network, this is when your advertising is on all other websites. So I'll show you an example. There's 3 ways to trigger this type of marketing, either based on keywords. So if a person is looking at a website and that website has the word real estate or open house and they're in my city, I want them to see my my advertising. So that's one rule. The second rule is based on website traffic. So that's if a person's been to your website and they leave your website, they'll start seeing your ads everywhere. And the third is based on email address, where if you have a database of email addresses, you can remarket to those people as well. When you do that through Google, you have to have spent $50,000, which most of you may not have done. And so I have, and I can do that marketing for you if you need it. This is an example of what the display ad would look like. It would literally just have the open house keyword at the top with the city, because that's what the people tune into. Then I would have a picture of the city that I serve, which is Oshawa, and a call to action. Now let me show you in real time where this ad would be. So here's DurhamRegion.com. If I called, this is the local newspaper. If I called the DurhamRegion.com and said, hey, I want to advertise on your website, what's the cost? It is astronomical. They want to charge you so much money for advertising on their website. And it's hilarious because they use the Google network to run ads. So I can be specific and have all my Google ads showing specifically on DurhamRegion.com, and I don't have to pay them their prices. It's literally a fraction of, like, say they wanted to charge $1,000, just a round number. I made that number up. Say they charge $1,000 for like $50 or $100 a month. I could have my banner ads running on the exact same network. So it's called the Google Display Network. Now, Google display banner ads, they're not the greatest for traffic. This is more of a branding play, in my opinion, with the benefit of traffic. But I think it's amazing that I can get my ads on other people's websites just by running it through the Google Display Network. Here's an example when this would be the remarketing. So if a person goes to your website and then leaves your website, they start seeing your ads everywhere. Well, where's everywhere? Well, YouTube is an example. When you're watching YouTube videos, there's a banner underneath the video, and to the right where all the suggested videos are, that's a display ad as well. So I could have all of my marketing displayed there, and I could have all my marketing displayed there, and it would be rule-based on if they've been to my website, then I want to remarket to them. Another idea would be to create a marketing kit for your own clients. So say I'm doing an open house at Amy's house or something like that this weekend. I would make her a couple images. I would make her a square image that says sharing is caring, join me this weekend, with a picture of her home and the date, time, and address. And then I would do the same thing on Facebook, make up a little Facebook post for her. I would then, let me zoom in so you can see what it looks like. Nice and simple, clean. I would then take that image and email it to her, and I would write up a little story. I'd be like, hey, Amy, I'm doing an open house this weekend. If you wanted to share anything about it, please see attached. And then I would write up everything for her. So I would write the date, the time, the MLS number, all my real estate information, a link on my website to her property, all of my social media, like the Instagram post, the Facebook post. I would create all of it, whether she chooses to use it or not. Some of them will. And for the ones that do, let me back up. When she posts that on Facebook and all her friends see like my photo, it's building that mind share of her real estate agent. So when it comes time for her friends to be buying a home or selling a home, I have a better chance that I'll stand out than not doing this at all, right? I mean, it's free marketing. You might as well. The only thing that's not free is the time it takes you to create. Speaking of that, you might be like, well, it's going to take a lot of time to create all these different images. Well, I go to Upwork.com, and it's where you can outsource and find virtual assistants. And I would create a template, and I would have this template created. Say it costs you $60. Once you have this template created, then you can, for every new open house going forward, send the pictures, the address, the date, the time, and all the information to that virtual assistant. And for like $20 or less, I'm guessing a typical budget would be like $10 or $15, and you could get all of that made up, because it's not going to take them an hour. Once they have the template, it's just drag and drop, change the photos, and change the date and time, pretty much. right? And so you don't have to be creating all of this marketing. You can have somebody else do it for you. Another idea is your open house registrations. A lot of you will use pen and paper where people have to like sign in on a piece of paper at your open house. I would encourage you to use a tool. What we're looking at here is BombBomb. There's other open house registration tools on the market, but like why pay for something that only does one thing? Where BombBomb will not only make landing pages like this, it will also do video marketing, email follow-up plans, and everything. So say somebody's at my open house and they register on this iPad that I have in front of them or computer, whatever. They'll register. Well, right away, they'll get a thank you video from me through BombBomb. And then on Monday, they'll get a follow-up touch. And it just like keeps them in the loop. And it's all automated. So I don't suggest that you go and you pay for other open house registration services when you've probably already got the tools that you can just repurpose and use just for this. Some of you have a CRM or a database. Ask them the question, say, can we make our own custom forms? If the answer is yes, then you can make your own open house registration page. And it could look something just like this. If you want to get BombBomb or try it, there's bombbomb.com/brokerage nation, and that will unlock a 4-week plan with all of these videos and scripts for you to make your own videos. I'll email the link as well. Now, say you're doing the open house, you're definitely going to have feature sheets, right? Well, on the back of the feature sheet, we have this. It's really clean and simple. It's a lot of text, so we made it very minimal. And we have 3 call to actions. The very top one in red says we're hiring. That's the one that captures most people's attention. Then it says thinking of selling, thinking of buying. So when a person comes through the open house, they open up the door, they walk through the front door, I'll say to the people, hey, welcome to the open house. My name's Danny Wood. How did you happen to find it? Just driving by, or was it some other form of marketing? And they'll tell me how they found it because I want to know what marketing worked. So they'll tell me most of the time they just saw it because they're driving by. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through and do a little tour of the home. So when I do that, I'm going to give you this. So I give them the feature sheet. And I'm like, the feature sheet's here. On the back is a copy of the MLS. So I actually would have 2 pieces of paper. The first one would be the cover with the photos and all the information. Then on the back is what we're looking at here. And then another piece of paper would be the black and white printout of the MLS so that they had all the information like taxes and room sizes and whatever. So I'm explaining to them, this is a copy of the MLS. This is a feature sheet. And on the back, I'll just point out that we're hiring. And if you're thinking of selling or thinking of buying, we have these as well. So take a look at those later. And the people are like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And it really captured like their attention. So I'm not expecting them at that moment when I hand it to them for them to read and digest and take action. But what I'm doing is I'm planting the seed and I'm like pointing them towards the future action I want them to take. So this we're hiring one, maybe you're not hiring, but your brokerage probably is, right? And so if your brokerage is hiring real estate agents, then I was always looking for talent. So I always had that message. And any way I can have a conversation, I will. So definitely if you start putting this, can I zoom in? Yeah. If you can put something like this on the back of your feature sheets at your open house. So I wouldn't leave this at the feature sheet for when other agents are showing the property because it's like you're trying to get business from other agents' clients. But it's when you're at your open house, 100%, I would do something like this. So I have a we're hiring message, thinking of selling message, and a thinking of buying message. And again, we use the texting. Let me go back. So the join our team says text hiring to 905-903-5442. And then I have a website, mywebsite.com/career. Or if you're thinking of selling, text sold to 905-903-5442. And then I give them the website to our sold page. Same thing for buying. So really simple, clean. People really resonate really well with that. And it created really good conversation when I was walking through the property, showing people. I want to end off with a script on when I'm calling people on the following Monday. So say the Monday rolls around, you got to pick up the phone and you're looking at your BombBomb list of all the people that registered or your piece of paper however you did it, I would call the people with this script. So I say, hey, is this Joey or whoever their name is? And they'll say, yeah. I'm like, hey, it's Danny Wood over at ABC Realty, and I wanted to call and say thank you so much for taking the time to register. You were looking at real estate. You were at my open house at 123 Street on Sunday. So I remind them of the action that they took and where they were. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that when you're done looking today, you'll notice all the new listings get mixed with the listings you've already been looking at, making things confusing. Wouldn't it be a benefit if I kept you notified on just the listings that match your criteria? As a buyer agent, you don't pay our fees, so this is totally a free service. It's a great way to help out with the window shopping and the information gathering stages. Oh, let me back up for a second. The reason why I say this, I put this, it's a great way to help out with the window shopping and information gathering stages, is because people used to use that as a reason for why they didn't need me. They'd be like, oh no, we're just looking, we're just information gathering, we're window shopping, whatever. So I put that right into my script when I call the people as to why they want it, because before they used to use that as a reason for why they didn't. So if you were to move, where would you move to? Oshawa or Whitby? And I put the words in their mouth so that they have to correct me. Because they have to correct me, now we've got a conversation. So they're like, oh no, never Oshawa, Whitby. Oh, okay. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? And I'm like getting real quality information out of these people. Basically, what I want to do is show you to be like this guy and have as many fishing poles in the water as possible. Don't rely on just the one thing. People do the typical open house with just 4 open house signs and they sit there and they fall asleep, which is what this guy is doing. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be the guy who's fallen asleep and just waiting for leads to come in because he's got so many sources put out there. So I'm hoping that I shared with you a couple alternatives and additions that you can do for your open house based marketing. And then on part 2 of our webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go step by step and we'll do the Google ad, we'll do the Facebook ad, and we'll do the more technical stuff. I'll set up the Sumo banner ads. Like we'll do all that step by step so that you can follow along and do it on your own. That's it for today's session. What we're going to do is give it not this Thursday, but the following Thursday will be part 2 of this. So I encourage all of you to tune in. If you have any questions, ideas, or suggestions, I want to hang around at the end, which is right now, to answer any of those. But if you don't have a question, you're free to go. We're done. We're going to record this and we're going to put it up on the Monday, okay? All right. Let me see what the questions are. Great information. Thank you.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!